Here we are for lesson 2 in the Jazzing Up Your Blues series. In this lesson we're going to learn how to play an A7 and a D7 arpeggio. The third chord in our A blues, which is E7, will be the same arpeggio as the D7, just moved up 2 frets. Now, before you actually start trying to use these arpeggios in a tune or being able to join them together, you need to learn them and practice them up a bit first. So the next step for you is to learn these arpeggios. They're on my website in the chords and scales area, which should really be called chord scales and arpeggios, I guess. And these are dominant 7th arpeggios. We're going to be learning the E shape and the A shape, which are the two caged forms. I'll give you a close-up of them now. It's quite important that you realise, I guess, what an arpeggio is, for those of you who don't know. So an arpeggio is the notes of a chord spread out and played one at a time. So for example, our A7 chord, the regular chord, has the notes A, C sharp, E and G. So if we play an arpeggio, we play those notes in order. So A, C sharp, E, G, and then again A, C sharp, E, G, A. And the C sharp bit at the top usually as well. Now when you practice them, I'd strongly recommend that you practice playing the chord, then the arpeggio, and then the chord again. Start to see the arpeggio shape based around the chord shape. It's a lot easier than trying to remember hundreds and hundreds of little dots. If you can just see the shape of the arpeggio directly around the chord, it makes it a lot easier to remember them. So let's go for a little close-up and check out our A7 and our D7 arpeggios. Okay, so for our A7 arpeggio, we're going to start with our second finger on the 5th fret of the 6th string, which is the root note, A. Then we play the note C sharp with our first finger, 5th string. Little finger goes down on the 7th fret of the 5th string. First finger sneaks forward, so you can see there, first finger snuck forward there, and he's playing the 5th fret of the 4th string. Third finger down on the 7th fret. Now on the next string, second finger on the 6th fret, 3rd string. First finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Little finger, 8th fret, 2nd string. First finger, 5th fret, thinner string. And then little finger stretches up there to play that note C sharp on the 9th fret of the thinner string. And back down again. Make sure you get that little finger swap here. Second finger, first finger, 4th finger. First finger moved forward. 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 4th, 1st. Stretch up with the little finger. Remember to practice chord, A7, arpeggio, and chord. Now over to D7 arpeggio. That would be the chord first. Now we're starting here, second finger, make sure you start on the root note, so it's not the lowest note of the arpeggio. We're starting here, second finger, 5th fret of the 5th string. We play that note D, first finger, little finger, that was both on the D string. First finger moves forward again, just like it did for the A7. First finger, third finger on the 7th fret, but then this time, third finger just lays down, it folds from being pointy, moves a little bit flatter to hold down that B string. First finger, 5th fret, little finger on the 8th fret. Now to go back, finish this one, we go stretch back with the first finger. Make sure you stretch right back with your first finger, 3rd fret. That's the note C on the 5th string. Then you play the note A, 5th fret of the 6th string. Back to the note C, 3rd fret, 5th string. And back to the root note. So you play chord, D7, the arpeggio, all the way down, and back up to the root note, and play the chord again. Start to see it around that shape. So before you start getting it all jazzy, it's really, really important that you get those two arpeggio shapes down really, really well. Make sure you practice first of all the chord, the arpeggio, then the chord. Make sure that you can play the arpeggio up and down really, really, really smoothly. However, it's also worth what I call running the arpeggio, which is where you kind of play up and down the arpeggio but change direction whenever you like. So you might kind of do A7, get used to just fiddling. Same with the D7. Yeah? Now, just so you're aware where this is going to, the importance of learning the arpeggios, is that we're eventually going to be able to change from one arpeggio to the next. So if you imagine the chord progression that went A7 to D7 and back to A7 again, cycling between those two chords, you can hear so you can really hear quite clearly where the chords change, and that's the skill in jazz. Is there's an awful lot of chord changes going on, all at like often very, very in fast succession, and the fact that you need to be able to play every chord change is the thing that makes jazz so challenging. Noting of course that I'm not really a jazz guitar player. You know, I can play a bit of jazz, but I'm not a proper jazzer. I'm a big believer that true jazz musicians dedicate their life to playing jazz. If you want to be a serious jazz musician, you need to practice all the time and play an awful lot of jazz. In my opinion. I'm sure most of the jazzers, or all of the really great jazz players I know, not just guitar players but everything, are pretty dedicated, focused human beings that practice a real lot. So if that's your bag, you want to get practicing real hard. Okay, so before you move on to the next stage, which is actually how to link these arpeggios using a thing called arpeggiator, very important that you practice those arpeggios and really, 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 really get to know them before you even think about doing the next step. So, have a little bit of fun with those, and I shall see you for another lesson soon. Bye bye.